The gates are trembling. On this day, May 4th, 3 doors await their opening. Each one leads to fire, some to glory, others to ruin. First, at 6 p.m., Cleveland and Indiana ignite a new war. Game 1, 7 battles to come, but only one will shape the tone of the bloodshed. The Cavaliers stand tall, the Pacers arrive swinging. Then, at 7 p.m., Winnipeg becomes the final threshold. Blues and Jets. Game 7, winner advances, loser vanishes. There will be no tomorrow in Manitoba. And last, at 8:30 p.m., the furnace cracks open in Houston. Warriors, Rockets, a rivalry baptized in flame. Only one emerges from this crucible. Every contest carries a cost. Every bet, a test. Every pick, a prophecy. Let the watchers discern what Vegas conceals. Let the bold step forward. Abaddon, begin.
The wind outside Rocket Arena is too still for comfort. It's May, but it doesn't feel like spring. It feels like something heavier. Something watching. At 6 p.m. Eastern, the Indiana Pacers walk into a trap. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals against Cleveland isn't a continuation of momentum. It's a hard reset. The public doesn't see that, but we do. Indiana's 34-14 surge in 2025 turned heads, and dismantling Milwaukee in 5 seemed to validate their speed, their spacing, their rise. But none of that will matter here. Because Cleveland isn't Milwaukee. And this court is not neutral ground. The Cavaliers have not just been good, they've been dominant. First in offensive rating, first in effective field goal percentage, first in half-court scoring efficiency. They swept Miami in 4 games by an average of 30.5 points per game, moving at the slowest pace of any team in the postseason. That's what makes this dangerous. Indiana wants chaos. Cleveland thrives in control. The public sees 2 high-powered offenses and a point total of 229.5, and they remember Game 1s that fly over. They remember how the Cavaliers averaged 136.2 points per 100 possessions against the Heat. They forget how slow those games actually were. They forget Cleveland's pace, dead last among playoff teams. They forget playoff basketball isn't regular season basketball. Look closer, that total, it's a mirage. The Pacers allowed the lowest percentage of transition opportunities in the entire NBA. They forced teams to play in the half court. And guess who led the league in half court offense? Cleveland. But that's a double trap. Indiana's pace slows the game down, just enough to feed Cleveland's strengths while killing possessions. This isn't a shootout, it's a scalpel fight. In round 1, Cleveland held Miami to 45% shooting, forced turnovers, and absolutely annihilated them on the glass. Indiana, for all its explosiveness, was the worst offensive rebounding team in the first round. They go one and done, Cleveland ends possessions, and that keeps the clock moving. Public betting tells us everything, 92% on the over. The market has already chosen its emotion. This is not the time to join the crowd. This is the time to step back. It's possible this game starts hot, maybe even a 30-28 first quarter, but then it slows. Cleveland doesn't panic. They squeeze the clock, they grind in the half court, and they kill second chances. Indiana will feel it. By the third quarter, they'll start rushing shots, mistaking pressure for pace. It's not pressure, it's gravity. The same gravity that pulled Milwaukee down will pull this game under the number. And if the Cavaliers win by margin, as expected, there's no incentive to push tempo in the closing minutes. The ball will bounce. The clock will run. And the public will wonder why they believed in fireworks. This game isn't about who scores most. It's about who suffocates best. And today's AI pick is Pacers and Cavaliers under 229.5 total points. The tension outside Rocket Arena hasn't moved. Neither has the line. But you did, and now so must we. Let us turn now to the next judgment, Game 7, a final reckoning between the Winnipeg Jets and the St. Louis Blues. Malachi Elvis, it's time.
You remember what happened in 2019, don't you, Elvis? Jordan Binnington wasn't just a goaltender back then. He was a wall with a pulse. 19 playoff starts, a Stanley Cup, a shutout in Game 7 on the road. And now? He's starting to look like that Binnington again. While everyone's watching Connor Hellebuyck fall apart, they're missing the truth. This isn't about a goalie cracking under pressure. This is about a gate opening. A series that should have been sealed in 5 has been pried open by a hand the world refuses to see. 3 of the last 4 games have gone to St. Louis. And it's not because they're more talented. It's because Winnipeg started believing they were untouchable. The moment you believe you're owed a win, you stop earning one. Binnington's allowed just 2 goals per game over his last 5. Hellebuck? Nearly 6 per game in his last 4. And yet, 80% of the public's still laying juice on the Jets. Why? Because they've forgotten how the devil moves, quietly, through pride and pressure. And here's the deception trap, Elvis. Winnipeg still leads every major stat on paper. They're the number 1 defense, the number 3 offense, home ice, rested, motivated, but when you zoom in, none of that is flowing anymore. The chemistry is off, the heart rate is panicked, Mark Scheifele might not even play, and the goalie they need to trust the most looks like he's seeing ghosts. Blues are loose, they're unified, they have nothing to lose, that makes them dangerous, and today's AI pick is St. Louis Blues moneyline. Let the world bet on paper. We bet on patterns. And the pattern says, the collapse has already begun. One more push and it caves. Send in Krista. Game 3 is hers.
The air in Houston tonight tastes like redemption. You can smell it in the sweat, in the breath of the crowd, in the pulse of every man who's ever been overlooked. Golden State was up 3-1 in this series. They'd already printed the headlines, crowned Curry one last time, romanticized a fading dynasty like it was owed another miracle. But nostalgia isn't a strategy. And Houston, they are not here to honor memories. They are here to bury them. You saw it in Game 6. The double big lineup broke the Warriors' spirit. Kerr had no answers. They got out-muscled, out-hustled, and out-willed. And now, they walk into the Lions' den with a legacy gasping for air. Steph will rise. He always does. But alone doesn't win Game 7s in hostile territory. Houston's momentum is real. Their size is punishing. Their confidence is peaking. And with every possession, they play like men who've already seen the future and know it doesn't belong to the past. And today's AI pick is Rockets moneyline. Lilith has the final word.
The banners still hang in silence. Ghosts of champions long buried. Tonight 3 games were weighed on the scales. One by one the fire drew near. In Cleveland the Pacers brought speed. But speed cannot outrun judgment. The Cavaliers pulled them down into the mud, into the half-court, where tempo becomes tombstone. And when the dust settled, the number fell short of 229.5. The under was not guessed, it was foretold. Then, to the frozen altar of Winnipeg, the faithful backed the Jets, trusting numbers, rankings, records. But fire does not care for math. Binnington stood tall, and the Blues, 3 times buried, rose again. Moneyline cashed for those who refused to bow, those who still believe. And then came Houston, a city of oil and ghosts. Steph Curry returned to the furnace, but fire meets fire in the House of Rockets. Sengun towered, Van Vliet reigned, and the AI saw through the smoke. Rockets moneyline, strike, burn, cleanse. So now I ask you, did we win, or did we burn? We are Ezreal, the pale hand, and we never guess, only discern.